Peace, love, and light. Let's get straight into today's topic. Today we're going to be talking about how to transform yourself through trauma. Through your trauma. Yes, I know I said that. It sounds crazy to some of us, but there's also two other ways where you can transform yourself. So it's not only trauma. And if you wanted to know the two other ways, you can check my video that I posted yesterday. I'll leave a link in the bio, those who are interested. Where I talk about and unfold in all three of them. And trauma is one of them. So today we're going to be talking about how you can know if you are one of these who, which all of us, I'm sure, have experienced some type of trauma. Some of us have probably healed through that. Some of us have not. And maybe we can identify with some of the symptoms of what trauma may look like. So, this trauma can be something that is really deep down in us. Something that maybe we kept hidden in the past, never really spoken up about or brought to the surface. So some of these things I'm going to mention, it can bring some awareness that you may be one of these one of someone who may need to heal and go through transforming themselves through trauma so that you can be you can vibrate higher and just live truly in your highest and greatest authentic self. Not that this is a bad thing, it's just sometimes we don't notice that these things can hinder us in growth in other areas. So it's good to always be working on ourselves anyway, especially if there's goals and things that we want to get to. Healing and working through those things that no longer serve or hinder us is a really good way to get to the next level. So with trauma, you transforming yourself involves acknowledging past trauma, past experiences that you went through. That's basically really number one thing to it, is really diving deep into yourself and getting really deep into those experiences that wasn't too, that was traumatic. Basically, we go through things, not everything is always peace, love, and light, as though that's the energy that we want to always kind of keep. We want to have that joy every day, but in reality that's not always energy. Things happen, life is not always up, and things have happened in our past. And the way we can do this is by writing. Writing is a great tool to really understand and release and pinpoint, because when you write it, because you can say it and you can kind of forget it, but if you say it and you write it, you kind of have an idea on what to work with and how you can heal that. So I also like to do something called the shadow work journal, where you where you would basically write down all your negative character traits about you in this journal. So you have a black journal, a white, and a white journal. In the white journal, you will write all the great things about yourself, all the great traits or characteristics, things that you love about yourself, things that you're gifted at, things that you're good at. And in the black journal, you're writing things that you need to work on, things that no longer serve you, things that hinder you, things that come up in the past, and emotions that come up in the past that hurt your growth, and that just no longer serve, that we just need to release. And you really just got to sit with yourself, maybe meditate before you do this. Maybe ask people that are really close to you to help you identify some of these traits, so that you can really get clear and unfold these things that need to come up so that we can heal. So that we can heal them. So yeah, doing that, and as you do that, you'll realize like a lot of things will be coming up. But yeah, that's a great practice to do, a great shadow work practice to do. And then there's other tools that you can do to actually heal this now, which I really touch on more in my master healing session, my one-to-one session, where we break down all the different shadow work practices and how you can really we'll do certain practices together and just inform you about doing them and work with you, so that, and to you, work with you, work with you. I was gonna say and through you, but I don't want to say that. Through these traumas. And yeah, so I kind of forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yes, so we can do that. But yes, as with the shadow work journal, just to give you some a practice that you can do with that is picking out one of your positive traits, or you can work with one of your negative traits, and you do a breath work practice. It's called a hermetic breath practice, where you'll breathe in your positive trait and you'll breathe out your negative trait, and you'll do this every day for 90 days. And the more you do this, is the more you would see that certain traits, you'll see that you're working on that, because as you do this, it's like an everyday reminder of that energy. And it's like a reminder of that energy. And as you do this, you'll realize you'll get better in that negative characters. Let's say procrastination. You'll realize that, hey, you're not procrastinating as much as you were before. Because if you're doing this, like, and then what you will do also, I didn't explain it in depth as I should, because this is a really complex topic. Not complex topic, but yeah, topic and practices that go along with it. But what you want to do as well is like, you'll do that for 2 minutes, and then you'll probably do that for 2 minutes, maybe for 7 days, 14 days. Then after that, you'll do it for 3 minutes every 3 hours. Then you raise it up 4 minutes every 4 hours, 5 minutes every 5 hours. And you do this for 90 days and more, until you realize that that trait is getting better. You'll just realize that naturally. And you also realize certain traits that you wrote within your black soul notebook, they will be getting crossed off as well. So just that's something to take a note of. So that's just one beautiful practice that's called the hermetic breath practice. And you can do this, you can set an alarm on your phone when you would do this breath work practice, and it's just a beautiful thing to help with those who want to work through some of those traits and those things within us, to release that don't serve us. But yes, and some other things that we can do. Okay, so I was just gonna say, I just wanted to touch up on the symptoms of trauma. So some of the things that you can have, that you can realize when you have trauma, are thoughts such as repeated memories of distress, the dreams, flashbacks, or the traumatic events. So you will realize, like, times throughout your day, you will be getting like vivid flashbacks of those events that took place that caused that trauma. Yeah, and they'll be like, randomly. So pay attention to that. Another one would be like avoiding reminders of traumatic events. May include avoiding people, places, activity, objects, and situations that trigger that memory. So a lot of the times you may not want to even talk about what happened. And you'll see like certain things within your life through people that that will kind of trigger, you know, bring flashbacks of that event. So, and yeah, you may be one of the people that will resist what happened or how you feel about it. So that's why it's called avoidance. And oftentimes this causes dysfunction as time goes by and you don't work through this. And yeah. And then another one was changes in arousal or reactivity. This was found in people with PSD, but PSD is very connected to trauma. Not if you have trauma, you necessarily have PSD, but they're very similar. But with this one, it says changes in arousal and reactivity may be described being very irritable or having angry outbursts, behaving recklessly in self-destructive ways, being overly watchful of their surroundings in suspecting ways, or being easily startled, or having problems concentrating or sleeping. So I see this as like, you know, maybe someone who was raped. Now that you see men, or you see certain like groups of people, you know, you start acting like suspicious. Maybe you really are over cautious, and you have every reason to be, but sometimes being overly something could be a reason, you know, that we need to create balance. And balance can be opening up to a deeper root of why when you do see these groups of people, why that's coming up, and why do you react that way? Is because of just safety, or is because of a deeper meaning? And that's what we need to really get into with trauma, because a lot of the times it's hard to really identify it. But yeah, through certain practices, you can work through and transform through these traumas and use this as strength. I like to look at this as a strength card in tarot. And it rules by 8th, and 8 is connected to Scorpio. Scorpio rules the 8th house, and that rules strength. You know, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, so Pluto rules power. So as you go through these hard, traumatic events that transform you, you also become stronger through that resilience, through that battle that you had to go through. It actually made you stronger. Sometimes, like, you have to go through the hard things in life for us to kind of appreciate the good things. Not all the time, of course, but sometimes you really do. And those life-changing, you know, traumas and hard things that really happen are really the things that how you grow. I even heard it before, like our hardest relationships that we had, those are the ones we grew the most, because those taught us what we don't want, what we do want, you know, and all that other stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna go into some of the practices, some other practices you can do to go through this if you're going through, and how can you use your trauma to transform. So you can also seek help, seek support, seek professional advice, go through maybe a psychiatrist or a therapist. They'll give you other coping mechanisms. You can also, you know, go to a spiritual guide, go to an astrologer, because believe it or not, in astrology you can see where trauma is. Like I was talking earlier about Scorpio in the 8th house. If you go to an astrologer who's really connected and, you know, knows your stuff, they'll be able to tell you some of your karma, your wheel, your natal wheel is just the current events or events that will come up in your life, because they just do, because this is your natal wheel, and they'll be able to pinpoint that to you. So going to a spiritual guide, a priest, whatever you believe in, going to them for guidance, and just speaking up about it. Maybe going to joining a support group, a community that you guys can just, when you hear other people talk about their traumas, you can kind of heal, because you realize that you're not the only ones going through this. So that's something that can be really healing. So you can transform that energy. All these things help to, basically what you're trying to do is shifting the energy so that the focus on the trauma is now focused on vibrations, higher vibrations, like producing joy, happiness, or even doing things that you enjoy, things that bring happiness. So tapping into your creativity, tapping into working out. Where every time, I always say, anytime I go to the gym, I always feel better after I leave the gym. Yeah, I always feel happier after I leave the gym. So yeah, so you work out, create a routine out of it. Don't just work out one time. Maybe at the beginning, start doing 2 squats, then do 5 the next day, then do 6, and then you just keep adding. Start out small if you have to, but just get there. Shift your energy. That's what transformation is all about, really, is just being an alchemist. You can be in one state and now in another, but the way you got to really do it is through consistency. I will stress that in every one of my videos, like how important it is not to just do any of these practices one time, but you want to do them every day for at least 90 days. And like I was saying, finding a creative outlet. A lot of times you can use, instead of communicating your trauma, if you're not one to communicate your trauma, maybe through like direct words or with someone, because that's uncomfortable sometimes. You can do it through our creativity, our paintings, our songs. Write poetry, write a book, write and then rap about it. You see many songs, rappers, I spoke about this in my other video, but how they use their traumas and to rap about it. And that's another way to transform your traumas and things that you went through lyrics and words, and sending healing, and other people can relate to it, and other people listening to your music, and it can be really healing in that way. And you're transforming the energy, you're writing something you enjoy, you're creating beats, whatever it is. It really is, like I said, shifting the energy. And that's really what alchemy is about, because we have the power to do that, to be in one state and then next minute, if we practice enough, and the more you practice, the more you can get into those states. Like, you're mad, but God forbid you don't work out, or you don't have like a girls' night out or whatever, and you get mad, usually just going to be in a state of just being mad. But if you get mad, and every Friday is a girls' night out, every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is working out, you kind of have outlets in which it's already a routine. So yeah, I got mad Sunday, but yeah, my Monday yoga and Pilates, I'm gonna be good. My Saturday swim class, my Sunday out with my girlfriends is gonna relieve some of this. It's gonna bring joy. I can shift that energy of trauma. And remember, practices. That's another thing. It's not just one-time thing. Practices is very key with this. Let me see if there's anything else that I'm missing out. Yep. Oh yes. And last but not least, I'm glad I looked at my notes. And this is like what I was talking about, just living in the moment. That's something you want to practice, and you can do that through mindful meditation. You can watch a guided mindful meditation, and you can the more you practice this, the more you can be mindful, to be aware. So those moments where you're somewhere else, we don't be really noticing this. The more you practice like that, the more you practice that meditation, the more it will get you in the mindset of being mindful of your, and mindful of your energy, of your awareness, whatever that is. But there's different practices. You can watch on YouTube, guided practices. It's free. I'm sure there's other outlets where you can find, but that's the one I would personally go to. But yeah, I hope you guys were able to get something from this video of how to heal your trauma, transform, and yeah, heal your trauma. So healing and transforming your trauma. So how to do that. And those who are interested in working with me, you can do that. I have a master healing session 1-to-1 where I get with you, and I'll even give you more. I shared with you the shadow work practice that you can do to heal some of this trauma, but I also give you even more, go into a little bit more in depth with how this is done. And yeah, it's really juicy, and I really think you guys can I create a really this is really great. I feel like it will really transform those who are ready to do the work, those who are ready to be accountable, and I create that space where we can do this together. And yeah, we can really open up. You don't really have to open up to me. Remember, these are practices you can do by yourself. I'm just giving you that space. But yes, if you do want to open up, you can, but just know that it's not something that you have to that you're going to be speaking and saying all the things, your trauma, unless of course you want to. But yes, it's not something like that. But yes, we can get into that. It's a great session, so you guys can check that out at my website. I'll leave that in the bio. Yes, if you really like this video, of course you can smash that like button, but if not, it's okay, because I'll be back tomorrow with some more treats. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you later.